Good evening, folks. It is Fabulous Friday. How you doing? My name is Jason, and I am just getting off work and heading down the road. Oh, crap. Brake checking. But anyways, how are you doing today? I am having a fabulous day, to say the least. How about you? Fabulous? Maybe? No? Kind of, sort of, maybe? Anyways, it's good to see my buddy Brad kind of freaking out, or all kinds of excited and stoked because the Amish are on the res. Now, what do you mean by Amish on the res? Well, res is short term vernacular for the reservation. See, that's what, if you ever heard about a res rat or a res ride. Res rat is basically a hood rat that's from the res, and then a res ride is a hoopty ride. Generally held together with baling twine and no shocks. And anyways, so my thoughts for today, and I've been contemplating on this for the last couple days, and now I realize I'll probably upset some friends by discussing this in the manner that I do, but I've thought about it quite a bit lately, and I was trying to find out for myself, why does it irritate me? And that is the idea of a purity ring. And and for those of you that are non-Christians, you wonder, what in the world is a purity ring? Well, purity ring, the basis of it is the fact that usually when someone gets a purity ring, one of two ways that they get it, and this usually happens when you're a teenager or a preteen. And the first way usually is like the father gives it to the daughter type of thing. The other thing is that, you know, go to a youth group event or something like that, and it's one of the things available for purchase after, you know, you make your promise that to be abstinent until marriage. And you know, there's times, and believe it or not, at one point in time I did have it, even after losing my virginity. Here some time ago, it was about 2 or 3 years ago, I actually had one. And you know, I wore it with pride, and when I say wore it with pride, I wore it with honor, I guess I should say. Let me put it that way. I wore it with honor. And you know, I wore it for probably about a month or two, and actually I think about 2 or 3 months I wore it. And I was thinking about it one day, and I'm just like going, wait a minute, I'm looking for a wife, and I'm wearing this purity ring. Because generally what happens is you wear it on your wedding finger. And I got to think about it, like going, well, wait a minute. That's kind of a misnomer of what I'm doing, or a false portrayal. Because I'm wearing a purity ring on my wedding finger, which in the Western culture here signifies that you're married and unavailable. And I'm like going, well, so suppose a teenager gets this when, you know, you're 16, 17, and you continue wearing it up until your adult years and stuff like that. You wear it because you're proud of the decision you make, and I'm not decrying the decision. But what happens is it becomes misleading to people because it leaves them with the impression that you're either engaged, married, or for whatever terms, you are unavailable. But yet then you're trying to figure out, why in the world is no one paying attention to me? Why is no guys pursuing me? And the opposite way around, you know, women pursuing the guy. Now granted, there are people out there that when they see a wedding ring, or anything for that matter, they're like, oh, well, I'll pursue this person because they're already attached, so, you know, you can always walk away type of thing. So there are those type of people out there, both male and female. But anyway, so I got to wondering, what in the world what is the, why do I have an issue with this? And I came to realize it's a false portrayal. And what I mean by a false portrayal, it portrays the fact that you're unavailable. But not only that, it also gives a person a sense of security. And that's where I really have an issue with. Because a wedding ring does not save a marriage. a promise ring, an engagement ring does not save a relationship. Granted, it may cause a person to think otherwise. There are very few rare times that it does. Don't get me wrong, there is that 1%. But likewise, a purity ring does not keep a person pure, nor does it save them. It's nothing but jewelry. Now you can say, well, you may be wondering, how can I say that? Well, very simply put, believe it or not, some of you may know this already or not, but I grew up in a culture where no one wore jewelry. And what I mean by that, the men did not wear necklaces, the men did not wear wedding rings, the women did not wear earrings, did not wear necklaces, did not wear wedding rings, or any kind of rings for that matter. So I can honestly say I know what I'm talking about here. I'm not, this is one of the few times okay, I will say one of the few times, this is one of those times where I am serious, I know what I'm talking about. And how can I say that I know wedding rings do not save a marriage? Because my parents, when I was 13 or 14, my dad, in an attempt to save the marriage, because we had left the culture we were in, we were going to a Mennonite church, and in an attempt to save the marriage, my dad went out and bought a set of wedding bands for him and my mom. And as a matter of fact, let me see here. Didn't realize I had that there. Well, wherever my pouch got to, that has my mom's wedding ring in it. So, that's how I can tell you that. And the only thing that will save a person's chastity or, keeping them pure, things like that, is the personal decision to do so. And to hold themselves accountable. And to hold each other accountable. A good example of that is a friend of mine called me earlier this week and said, hey, I'm in such and such a situation. Can you call and do the emergency, I need to leave situation? And I thought about it. I was like, no, I'm not going to lie for him. And he has a friend that's very dear to me. And I said, I'm like, no, I'm not going to encourage the behavior of what took place. Granted, I've been in that position before. What I mean is I've been in that position where I want to escape because I've made a poor choice. So how do you handle how do you help someone that has made a decision to do something they should? How do you help them out without enabling them? So I said, okay, where you at? Told me where he's at. I said, okay, do you have anything in the house? No. He says, I got everything with me. He said, I'm just outside smoking a cigarette. I said, okay, here's what you do. Get in your car, leave. Are you serious? Dead serious, dude. Get in the car, leave, don't even give an explanation. Now, most people say, well, that is harsh, that is rude, that is... The thing is if you're in the devil's playpen and you step out for a second for whatever reason, don't go running back into it, because you're just going to get hooked, you're going to get suckered in. So once you're out, or have a foot out the door, keep going no matter the cost, no matter the consequences, because otherwise you're going to get weighed down and it's going to suck the life out of you. Granted, I didn't plan on segueing into that, but that's what happens. But coming back to everything I'd said before about the idea of a purity ring. The problem with Christianity is we continue to add things to Christianity that have no premise. If it takes a bracelet that says WWJD, or if it takes a ring that says purity on it to remind you of your Christianity, of the of your salvation or whatever it is. I really question the level of spiritual maturity there. And the reason I say that is every time I screw up or I'm going to screw up, make a mistake, to sin, or whatever you want to call it, I already realize it because of the connection I have with the Holy Spirit. That there in itself is more important than any bracelet, jewelry. And I know some people, I'm going to say this right now, there are people out there that call a bracelet, a necklace, a ring, they call it a thing because that way they avoid it calling it jewelry. If it adorns your neck, if it adorns your finger, if it adorns your ear, it's jewelry. I don't care what you say. A skunk is a skunk. You can call it a duck all you want. People are going to look at you like you're an idiot. They're going to look at you like you're ignorant and you're stupid. So that's enough about that. But anyways, what I'm saying is if you're concerned about abstinence, if you're concerned about your Christian walk, the Bible is the only place that you should be sticking your nose in. You should be carrying around in your heart, your mind, your soul, and your spirit. That is going to keep you pure. And it boils down to you making the choice. Satan will tempt you. He will present situations before you. But it's going to boil down to what choice you make. So, there's my tidbit for the day. God bless. Have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you Sunday where we sing along with silly songs.